Oh. Maybe so. I'm gonna finish my drama. Oh, we did this already. Oh, we did. Amar Rav Nachman Trei Kam Otako, V'Chad Atako. We did that also too, right? I think we're up to Maskif Law, Rav Misharshio. No, we did that too. No, we're up to Amar Rav Yehuda, the last line of the page. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Yeah. Yeah, we're still dealing with Zugois. Zugois. Sounds like a spooky house, you hear. Zugois.
The demons of two.
Huh?
The demons of two.
No, not the demons of two. They attack with their pair of two. You know, if you have twos, if you have pairs, these demons can attack you. And if you don't, they don't. And that's the concept of Zugois that we've been speaking about up until now. All right, we have only a little bit left to the quota of this week, which is Wednesday, which is usually when we finish the quota. So let's finish the quota, and then we're going to go and give a review of all the spooky stuff we spoke about this week from Talmud Pesachim, Kuf Yud Amud Beis, all about demonic energies and witchcraft abilities. Yeah? Good. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Says Rav Yehuda in the name of Shmuel. Kola mozug mitzaref chutz min hamayim. Anything that's diluted is counted in the concept of pairs except for water. Now we need Rashi and the Rashbam to explain to us exactly what exactly does it mean diluted, that it was mixed. Says Rashi, Kola mozug, everything that's mixed, im shosa yayin mozug. If you drank diluted wine, and afterwards you drank another type of drink that was also diluted, mitzaref, it's going to connect to one, bein l'tova, bein l'ra, both for the good and for the bad, which means that it will enable you to get demonic attacks, but it will also break the number, that paired number, to prevent you from getting the demonic attacks. Remember, if you get an odd number, they can't attack you. They cannot attack you with an odd number. They can only attack you with an even number. Yeah? So here, what it's saying is that if you have two different type of drinks that are diluted. Now, what are diluted drinks? Now, at least in the olden days, they used to dilute wine, right? As we learned, they used to put a quarter of wine and 3/4 water.
More than like 6 of like water.
Not necessarily considered water. It's just not necessarily considered wine. It's not considered wine. It might not necessarily be considered water either. All right? Anyways, kola mozug, anything that is diluted. For example, what if you have like diluted apple juice? For example, if you have real apple juice, it's very thick, it's very sweet. Very often you want to dilute it. So he's saying over here that any diluted drinks combined with each other, the very fact that they're both diluted, even though they're different products completely, but the fact that they're both diluted makes them combined with each other and they become zuges. So you got to be careful when you have two different things, except for water. Okay, diluted water does not combine with anything else. Now, how exactly do you dilute water? It doesn't mean you diluted water. What kind of thing is that? Huh? What does it mean you dilute water? How do you dilute water? With water. You take water and you mix water with it. Why would you do that? No, if you mix it with anything else, then you're diluting the other thing, and then it's not water. The whole concept of diluting means you mix it with water. So how can you say that except diluted water? What the heck is diluted water? What's diluted water? Shalom Yosef, right? I got it right. Oh, Shalom Yosef. Yeah. What is diluted water, Yosef Yitzchak?
So you have a cup of water, and then you still have a cup of water.
No, then it's half the water's missing. What on earth is diluted water? That's why we have Rashi. Chutz memayim, so Rashi says, mayim mezugim, diluted water. What does this mean? Kigoin kridi b'chmimi v'chmimi b'kridi. For example, if you have boiling hot water and you want to cool it off, so you dilute it with cold water, or you have cold water and you'd want it to warm it up a little bit and you dilute it with warm water. Now, even though it is a concept of diluting, you would think that you are diluting. You're taking cold water, mixing it with hot water so that you can get some type of mix between the two, right? As far as temperature is concerned. However, says the Gemara, it doesn't count as diluted. It's not counted as diluted. So water is not counted diluting water, even if there is some type of a purpose in diluting it, because you can dilute hot into cold, cold into hot. Doesn't make a difference. Not considered diluted. Forget about it. Right? It doesn't count, meaning it does not combine with the other cups that are diluted. So if you have diluted wine and then you have diluted water, the diluted water is not going to combine to the diluted wine. Yeah? Not for the good, not for the bad.
Makes sense. I mean, it's different temperature, but it's still water.
Yes, it is. Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. You know how the demons work? Huh? You know how the demons work?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Do you know how the demons work?
Yeah, they attack on pairs.
Huh?
Only because I've learned.
Exactly. So there's these spooky stuff here in the Talmud. We have no idea what exactly it's talking about, but we know that this is what it says.
Wait,
so maybe diluted water would be considered diluted here. So the Gemara says, no, it's not. It's telling you an exception.
If you were to mix negotiable wine with non-negotiable wine.
Why would that not be dilute? That would be some form of dilution, no?
Dilution, right?
It says any dilution will combine with other dilutions except for water. Diluted water doesn't combine with the other ones.
If it's more than, let's say, 1/4 like wine and water,
Yeah.
what preference do you make on it? If it's not considered wine anymore, but there's still like more than
Good question. Good question. Well, if you cannot say hagofen on it, you'd have to say shakel.
Yeah, it makes it then water.
No. Water is not the only drink that we make shakel on. You ever drink vodka? Never drink vodka?
Yeah.
Chabad school, you never drink?
Literally anything.
Apple juice, orange juice, grape juice,
Then what is
tomato juice, carrot juice. Yeah.
Good in the juices.
Here in Tzfas, you could come to Tzfas. We have a store called 18 Carats. Now you think it's like a diamond store, but it's not. They sell like carrot juice. Well, not just carrot juice, all sorts of weird juices. Right? Right? This is what the Jews do. The juices. They do the juices.
Sold by Jews.
Juices sold by juices. All right. Yeah, good. Weitergegangen. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan Omar. Rabbi Yochanan says, afilu mayim, that even diluted water is going to be considered as a diluted drink and will be combined with any other diluted drinks. You know, it's a good example of diluted drinks. Today, I only know, by the way, maybe I've experienced here by chasanas, by weddings, but they have like, you know, in the non-Jewish world, they have these bars. You come to the bar and, you know, in Chabad, we drink. What do we drink? Let's pour some vodka. In those days, they're mixing and shaking and baking. I don't know what they're doing. It's just like mamish, like it's a whole process, right? They pour this and then they pour this and then they pour that and they pour that, as if it actually tastes better. Just drink the vodka, zel. Done. Yeah, like the bars. They pour this and they pour that, and then they shake it and they do it like this, and I don't know what they do. Mixologist, right? So you think that if they drink, they mixed one type of drink and then they mixed another type of drink. You think, okay, well, there's two different types of drinks. Why? Because this is a vodka based. I don't know what do you call these? What's the name of a good drink?
A vodka-based drink?
Yeah.
Tequila sunrise?
That's tequila. Tequila sunrise. Okay, tequila sunrise. What is tequila sunrise?
It's like tequila and orange.
Tequila mixed with oranges. Why don't you just drink the tequila by itself? What's wrong with these people? They have to mix orange juice. They ruined the whole tequila. The whole tequila's gone. What do you? The whole point? What's the point? You mix the tequila with orange juice. I'm sugar in it.
They can't drink it straight.
Huh? For women, you're saying women can't drink it straight? Yeah, you're being chauvinistic. You're talking down to women. You think that women can't drink? Margarita. Margarita. What is a margarita, by the way? I've heard the name, but margarita. What's a margarita? What do they do? What is a margarita? What do they mix? Huh? You don't know what it is.
It's got like lime, mint, tonic, maybe. I'm not sure.
What's tonic water?
Tonic water like suppresses the flavor of.
What is it?
It's just like it kind of like makes it like
It's like seltzer, but it's got a bit of flavor to it.
Flavored seltzer.
You don't drink tonic water by itself.
Why not?
You use it as a mixer. You can taste that.
Yeah, you tried it?
Yeah. I thought it was seltzer the first time.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, but also if you mix.
By the way, between me and you, I'm going to tell you right now something that'll get you super drunk all the time. All the time. I'm telling you, there's one mix. There's one mix that to me is completely. There's one mix. I'm telling you, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Listen to what you do. You take vodka. You fill a half a cup of vodka, and then fill the rest of the cup with Sprite. You ever tried this? Try it. You will not taste the vodka, and you drink the whole thing. You think you're drinking soda. And mamish taste. Somehow vodka and Sprite mix very good together. Half Sprite, half vodka. I'm telling you, you drink the whole thing. You tried it?
Rabbi, you know what it is about?
Yeah, I tried a few times. Huh?
You know what it is mixing soda or juice or something like
Yeah.
this? The sugar in the soda or the sugar
Yeah.
in the juice, it makes your body absorb the alcohol quicker.
Ah,
Your
that's
body
it.
absorbs sugar very quickly. So if you mix sugar with the
Alcohol.
alcohol, such as juice or soda or something like this,
Ah, that's the trick. I'm wondering why I get so drunk whenever I mix that Sprite with it. I just thought I was just drinking it. I was just drinking one after the next because I didn't even taste the alcohol. It's like
it's
boom,
not that you're
boom,
drinking
boom.
more alcohol, because
Huh?
it hits you quicker.
Hits you quicker. Anyway, the point that it's saying over here is that when you mix drinks, all mixed drinks are in the same thing. They're in the same category. Every single mixed drink will combined for zugos, will become a pair and will make a person susceptible to demonic attack. Yeah. Except water, according to Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel that water, mixed water, which means you mix hot and cold, cold and hot, they're both water, so it's not going to combine to other mixed drinks. Rabbi Yochanan says, I'm sorry to tell you that even that will combine with other mixed drinks. That's it. Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa says as follows: Lo yamoron elo chamimi ligoy kriri, ukriri ligoy chamimi. Aval chamimi ligoy chamimi, ukriri ligoy kriri loy. It says, Rav Papa says this rule that diluted water will combine with other drinks to become zugos. This is only if you mix hot and cold or cold and hot. But if you mix hot and cold or cold and cold, it won't. Now, why on earth would you mix cold and cold?
Cold, it's not cold water and cold water.
Huh?
It's cold water and cold something else.
No, we're actually,
Cold water.
yeah. The first loya mannen mit star from el kridi be khamini be da hik khosh da ben mazuk. Aber khamini le khamimi kridi le kridi kulu alma le. It doesn't really explain it, but what it seems to be saying is as follows. Listen carefully. It seems to be saying that let's say you have hot water and hot water, just one's hotter than the other, and you want it kind of like, yeah, you want to have like you want it kind of like, again, you have warm water and hot water. So you pour warm water into the hot water in order to kind of just like balance out the heat. Shouldn't be too hot. Or if you have cold water, freezing cold water, and medium temperature water, and you're like, but it's still a little chilled. As long as it's a little chilled, cold and cold, can be considered a mixed drink. But if you mix cold and hot or hot and cold, then it will be combined as a mixed drink and make a person susceptible to demonic attack. Yeah. Is this scary, Yochanan Baruch? It is scary. I love how he kind of goes like this. Yeah.
see the
Like-
fear in your eyes.
Oh, the Baal Shem Tov's father told him he shouldn't fear anything besides Hashem himself and nothing else. And the Baal Shem Tov was known of saying this many times. There's actually a story written up in some books that he had an encounter with Satan himself. Yeah. Baal Shem Tov had an encounter, Satan himself, and Satan told the Baal Shem Tov that he only came to the world twice before. Once when the first destruction was destroyed, when the first temple was destroyed. Second, when the second temple was destroyed. And ever since then, he's never been there in this world, except when he came to meet the Baal Shem Tov. And so he told the Baal Shem Tov, I think you should be scared of this situation. Like he kind of like threatened him. And the Baal Shem Tov says, I'm not scared of anything besides Hashem himself. And you know what said happened? It says Satan was enclosed in a black dog, and this dog barfed, threw up. And that was actually a symbol of defeat, that Baal Shem Tov defeated Satan. And they say that in the defeat of Satan, he was forced to relinquish the soul of the Alter Rebbe. Because the soul of the Alter Rebbe, it said that the soul of the Alter Rebbe was never in the world before. Most of our souls are reincarnations. There's a few rare souls that haven't yet been in this world. It says very, very rare that a new soul comes to the world. And it says that the Alter Rebbe was. And the Alter Rebbe's soul was being held by Satan. He didn't want to let it out because he knew what it could accomplish. And because the Baal Shem Tov defeated Satan, he had no choice but to let it out. I believe either Seif L'Torlis or in Sipurei Chabad. It might be in Sipurei Chabad. In the early Sipurei Chabad starts all the way from the beginning. You ever see Sipurei Chabad? It's a massive set of books. Yeah, it starts all the way from the Baal Shem Tov and goes down as much as you can. It's a set of svarim that they used to make sure that everybody had, but unfortunately, people stopped buying them. It's a set of books called Sipurei Chabad, the Tales of Chabad. And it has a lot of very interesting stories there, some spookier than others. Yeah, good. Anyways, we did finish the quota for this week, and now we will do a bit of a rewind. What's huge? Yeah, it's super huge. And by the way, next week our quota is even going to be huger. Yeah.
How we like for me personally,
For you.
tested on this,
Yeah.
a lot of the words are just like because the Gemara is going through stuff and saying stuff, it's a lot harder to understand.
Yeah. Very good. Mendel Israel, there's somebody here that he says here, pleased to see you again. He's happy to see you again. She, huh? Maybe. Anyways, blind watchmaker. I don't know how you make a watch if you're blind, but it's not easy. But maybe they could. Maybe. Anyways, let's go from the beginning and remind you guys what's going on here in this particular Talmudic passage. All right? We began from a story that Rav Yosef met a demon called Joseph. His name was Joseph, and he met a demon called Joseph as well. And this demon Joseph apparently couldn't keep his mouth shut and was giving away a lot of the demonic secrets. Yeah, by the way, you should know that throughout the Talmud it speaks about the sages interacting with demons. It even has a story with one of the sages interacting with Satan and it seemed like they were friends and they were buddies. And it tells a story. It says a story that one of them became such buddies. He became such buddies with Satan that Satan was once showing off how everybody that dies, he has to kill them with a particular knife. He has a specific knife that he uses, and the sage says, "Can I see it?" And the guy said, "Okay, here." He let him see his knife, and he took off. He ran away with it. And it was a whole thing how he had to get back his knife. And finally, when he got back his knife, he was a little bit more careful not to give it. So again, according to that story, he only came to the world twice. The fact is that what does it mean, this world? This world means in a physical reality. these sages, perhaps they met and conversed with these spiritual entities. Not necessarily was a spiritual entity sitting across from him like we were, as people and just talking. Not necessarily was it like that. It could be that these sages had a way of interacting with other worlds. You understand? Very different. Huh? They're so lucky. Yosef Yitzchak is like, I would like to be and interacting with some of the other worlds. Yeah. Huh? What's that? Huh? I don't know. It could just be a gift. Even a lot of people learn a lot of Torah and they're not necessarily on that level. It could just be a gift that God gives certain people that they have the abilities to interact with other worlds.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's true. Some people are not necessarily. They're better than people in certain aspects. Certain aspects, people have things. Okay. Anyways, Rav Yosef was having a conversation with a demon called Joseph demon, and Joseph demon told him that Ashmedai, and by the way, this name is even mentioned in other places, in many places. The king of the demons is named don't tell anybody, right? It's a secret. It says it right here in the Talmud, but the name of the king of the demons is called Ashmedai. And Ashmedai, he's the king of the demons, and he is the boss. He has jurisdiction over the concept of pairs, which means in order to attack using the concept of pairs that makes a person susceptible to demonic attack, this concept is in the hands of Ashmedai. And he said that a king is not, he's busy, he has things to do, he doesn't need to attack individual people. There's another version that says the exact opposite. Because it is in the hands of the king, you have to be more careful because kings are very quick to get angry and they're quicker to attack. Yeah? Good. Weitergegangen. So that is the Ashmedai story. Then Rabbi Kopel said he also had a conversation with the demon called Joseph. And it said that if you have two, they will kill you. If the demons can catch you on the number 2, they can kill you. With 4, they won't kill you, but they will damage you, which means they can harm you, right? We remember pairs is 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are pairs, 2 and 4, right?
I thought once we got past that, the number 4, then like.
Oh, so you're remembering the Gemara from last week, and the Gemara from this week is actually gonna mention that. It also says in 2, if a person drinks 2, bein b'mezid, bein b'shogeg, whether they did it on purpose or whether they did it by accident, they can still get attacked. However, 4, they must do it on purpose. 4, in order to get attacked. By accident, they won't get attacked. Yeah. Then the Gemara actually came and said, what do you do? What do you do if you did already zugais and now you're on the road and you're like, oh, I forgot, I drank zugais. Now what do you do? You're on the way, you're susceptible to the demons. What do you do? Remember this? No, you take your right thumb, you put it into your left thumb, into your left hand, and then you take your left thumb and you put it into your right hand. And this is the way to protect yourself from the demonic energies. Okay? You hold your hands like this. Again, one thumb like this into the other hand, the other thumb back into the first hand, and now you have something. And not only that, is you go like this. Once you're like this, you then have to tell the demon, you and I are 3. And then the demon may answer, you and I are 4. Then you have to answer, you and I are 5. You and I are 6. You and I are 7. And you have to go up. You always have to be landing on an odd number. Because if you're going like this and you're landing on an odd number, then the demons, unfortunately, cannot. Because because it says it in the Talmud? Doesn't say. Doesn't say. Not that I know of. Could be I did. I didn't realize it.
I've met a few.
He's met a few directly. Really? For real?
I think so.
How do you know?
It's in your-
Talking about your ex-girlfriend?
One of them was, yeah.
One of them was.
Trust
Yeah.
me, you would think so too.
Yeah. Yochanan Baruch has a good kid. We should take a picture of this. It's too bad you guys, we have to set up some videos to get everybody to see some of the reactions. Yeah. Anyways. Yes. There are certain ways. One of the ways of knowing if they say demons, they have some type of chicken feet looking things. Their feet look a little bit like chicken feet.
Oh, someone.
And so if you see somebody that's very careful not to take off his shoes, then you got to worry about him. He's trying to hide the fact.
Is that why some people, like, another reason besides being cool, that people like ask people to take their shoes off before they walk into their house?
Could be. You want to see if he's a demon or not.
I heard there's this thing, you put a ring of salt around your bed before you go to sleep, and then in the morning.
I don't think it's salt. I don't think it's salt. I think it's flour. And you're supposed to sift the flour. You sift the flour really, really thin, and then you put it around your bed, and then you'll see like chicken feet walking you'll see like the marks. Yeah. Want to try it?
I think some of the UAP phenomenon is potentially explainable by malachim and physical and demons.
Could be. Could very well be. Could very well be.
I've had enough experiences, and I believe that can definitely happen.
Yeah. Good.
Have no doubt.
You don't need to try it.
You think about people coming down with UFOs, like little spaceships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They do like dozens of times in the Torah. It's in the Chumash.
What do they do?
They come down and they talk to people.
Who?
The malachim.
Yeah.
I'm saying, do they come down?
No, again, angels. The question is, angels are. I've spoken about this a little in the past as well. Is that a lot of people today they're looking for extraterrestrials. However, they're basically first of all assuming that there is extraterrestrial beings that are somewhat similar to human beings, which means that they have skin and bones and blood and some type of natural function. However, you must know that there definitely are extraterrestrials, but they don't necessarily operate on the same reality that we do. They're kind of like a different system, right? They have a different operating system. They don't necessarily operate on space and time and space and matter the way that we understand it. They operate on a completely different plane, and therefore we don't necessarily know. People ask me, what's an example of this? Well, before radio waves came out, if I tell you that there is a system right here in front of your eyes that can literally carry voice or carry sound and or information, and you're like, what are you talking about? I don't see it. Right? Yeah. Well, once you get into science and you say, okay, well, there's radio waves, and it's right here. Radio waves, they're right here, right? Yeah, you don't see them, you cannot detect them, right? And there are other realms of reality, some of which we've gotten into through science, like radio waves, X-rays, infrared, ultraviolet. These are all things that are not, you don't see this with your human eyes, but these are actually things that exist right here that you just don't know about, but they're right here, right? And that's the same thing about the angels and demons and all these things. They could be right here in our room listening to us and being, these guys, they're speaking about us. They never, this guy's like waving to them.
You know what I think we should call them?
Yeah.
So if you can see more spectrums than visual spectrum, it's a tiny sliver of visual light compared to if you go all the way down to the lowest, which the frequency would be the size of the wavelength would be the size of the universe, would be very low frequency light.
Yeah.
And then the highest possible frequency is the wavelength is basically the distance between two Planck units. It's basically the highest energy light you could ever have.
Yeah.
And so visual light's a tiny sliver in between those things. But if you can see into like a bunch of those frequencies, it's called hyperspectral vision. And you can do it with sensors and stuff.
Right.
So we should call these things.
Yeah, but let me tell you
hyper-
again. You're still basing that on some form.
It's only physical.
You're on some form of light. Okay, who's to say that there aren't planes? Who's to say that there isn't a type of light that we haven't yet discovered?
No,
Just like before we discovered radio waves, right? No one would have believed they existed until they were discovered, right? Who's to say there isn't multiple realities that are operating right in front of our face that we just don't know?
100%.
And seemingly, this is seemingly what the Kabbalah teaches about angels and demons, etc. These are actually beings that operate and live on a plane that we aren't yet able to deal with. Now, some people may be gifted with the ability to interact with those planes, and that these were some of the sages, the prophets. They were able to interact with planes that are not necessarily built for human interaction.
Yeah.
Right? They somehow broke through the barrier somehow, etc. Right? Now, maybe one day we may or may not, through technology, figure out how to enter these planes and interact with these planes. But until that time,
I've met people
you met people that
that can do it.
that could get into the other plane of reality. Good.
Or they can interact with certain things.
Mm.
Right?
I've met people who are able
Yeah.
to interact with certain things that we can't really see or is.
Good. Maybe they could. Maybe they could. Maybe they can't. I cannot tell you if they're accurate, if they're not accurate. What I usually tell people that have these claims, I say, well, could you tell me something that you would know that you couldn't know if you didn't have that information, if you didn't have the other planes? For example, future. One of the ways the Rambam explains, one of the ways of confirming if a person's a prophet, if they know the future to the T, which means even if they're a little off, they might have some idea, but they're not true prophets. A true prophet would be able to tell the future to the T.
Oh, so we can find a prophet because he's going to have a lot of Bitcoin.
He's gonna have.
If someone's a prophet, he's going to have a lot of Bitcoin.
Why?
Because he would have known what was going to happen back in 2009. He would have gotten all the Bitcoin.
But who says that the prophet is interested in spending his energy making money?
That's true.
It's not that much energy.
Doesn't make a difference if it's a lot of energy or little energy. Huh?
That's true.
Could be. It could. Again, there's different places where it speaks what exactly is the ability of prophets. What is exactly the ability of prophets? Some people say they kind of go into a higher plane, and then in that higher plane, the future already existed. Right? And then they can say the exact future. Some people say a prophet really should have a somewhat of a direct communication with God.
Wow.
Now, what exactly does that mean? Some people, a voice came. How do you know that voice is God? Maybe that voice is an angel. So apparently, prophets will know that it's somehow they know it. Somehow they know it. I don't know how they know it, but they know it.
So most of the time in the Torah, the voice when Hashem speaks through angels, he speaks through the Malachim.
Yeah.
People. But except for Moshe Rabbeinu on Eretz Sinai, Moshe heard Hashem's voice directly. But that's kind of the only other time, you know. Every other time.
No. Says who? No. Moses seemingly did. Yeah.
So those
Somebody wants to know: is Marilyn Manson a prophet?
Marilyn
I don't even know that.
I don't think so.
Is that the guy that killed like convinced this whole?
No,
They carved a swastika into his forehead.
Huh?
that was Charles Manson.
Oh, Charles Manson.
So who's Marilyn Manson?
Oh, right.
Musician.
Musician?
Jewish guy.
A Jewish guy.
He's Jewish?
Maybe he's a prophet.
He got breast implants.
He sounds crazy, man. Anyways, good. Listen, you cannot be a prophet for profit. You can't be a prophet to make profit. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. No. Anything else?
So I was gonna say there was
Yeah.
there was this time like my mom had a cat.
Yeah.
And No, the cat would like be weird. It would just be chilling there doing nothing, and then
Yeah.
randomly start jumping all over the place.
Yeah, and you decided that means it saw some
So
demonic
here's the thing,
forces.
My mother decided to record it because she
Yeah.
thought it was funny. And then if she looked back into the recording and she saw that there were like these balls of light, like kind of floating around the place, and the cat was trying to catch these balls of light.
Yeah, really?
And yeah.
But you couldn't see them.
Sure, like you couldn't see them with your eye, but like on the recording, you could somehow see these balls of light.
Spooky stuff here.
The cat was like trying to catch them. It was very strange.
All right. Anyways, Mashiach. Guys, now we're going to give you the chance to reread it in the Gemara, all the spooky stuff. Next week, we have a little bit more spooky stuff. Stay tuned. Got a little bit more coming on. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. We'll see you. Bezrat Hashem. Thanks for all the people who commented about the prophets and it's that, whatever. Yeah. We have somebody that is a big follower. Who's Charles Manson?
That was the guy who carved the swastika into his forehead and convinced people to kill people.
Oh, really?
He said that he was innocent because he didn't actually commit murder. He just convinced other people to murder.
Did other people murder in his name?
Yes.
People actually killed in his name.
But he was also involved with the CIA and their project to try to find a truth serum when they were testing LSD on people, and they gave him a bunch of LSD. The CIA did, and he took the LSD and he gave it to a bunch of people, and then did spiritual mind tricks on them, and then got them to murder people.
That's horrible.
Horrible. Very spooky.
Spooky. Why does this guy like him?
I don't know.
That's
guy likes him.
Good question. Why would you like Charles Manson? That's.
Anyways, weiter gegangen. We're going to close the thing. Anybody that wants to join, sei gesund.